Welcome, 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 everyone. My name is Stacy Jones, and welcome to another episode of Share Your Journey Live in my Facebook group From Daydreams to Destinations. And I am very excited to have Sheyenne Kreamer with me today. And before I mess up anything, I'm going to actually let her go ahead and jump right in so that she can share with everyone who she is and where she's calling from. And you all know my follow up question. I want to know if that's where they're from because I like to know what people grew up. So, okay, Cheyenne, take it away. So, who are you and where are you
Oh,
from?
well, thank you, Stacy. It's an honor to be here with you. My name is Sheyenne Kreamer, and I am from wherever I park it. How do you like that?
I like it. I like it wherever I'm parked at. But so
Exactly.
the
Home is where we park it.
but where did you grow up? Just so we can kind of get to know you. Where did you grow up?
Absolutely. Well, I grew up in the very small state of Vermont. A lot of people in this country don't even know where it is. It's up in the Northeast. And I've always been, I grew up in the mountains. I've always been a mountain girl for as long as I can remember. So, currently we're parked just outside the Great Smoky Mountain National Park because I like those mountains so well, just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. So that's where we are right now. It's hotter than heck,
Oh wow.
very hot and very humid here. It has been in the 90s for days. But the good news is, and this is what I love about being here, is I only have to drive 30 minutes to be on a mountaintop where it's about 15 degrees cooler and there's amazing mountain streams and waterfalls.
Yeah.
So that's what I like.
And I appreciate, I know for those of you that are in the group, I always try to repost Cheyenne's pictures because they are absolutely gorgeous. So, I think that's becoming one of the top destinations because I'm posting all these pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, Cheyenne, I want to come. So that's wonderful. So listen, all right, so let's get to it because we've only got a few minutes this morning. But for those of you that don't know you yet, I just want you to describe yourself and the path that helped you develop your amazing Facebook group, which is what Unity and Wellness. Oh my God.
Unity for Wellness
Wellness
and Peace.
and
Yes.
Peace Network. And I'm curious as
Yes.
to what journey led you to developing that group. Because you don't just wake up one day and like, this is what. So, how did you get there?
I'd be glad to share, because it's quite the story, actually. I really think it probably started all the way back in high school, but to be a little more direct, um, back in the around 2009, my husband was doing a lot of entrepreneurial stuff himself. He fixed copying machines, cash registers, printers, all that kind of stuff. And he was starting to have some serious problems, where he was just like, I don't think I want to continue this business. And, it's like, okay, health challenges, I get it. So we made a decision to try to sell the business in a creative way. And we sold it to a group who was supposed to pay him for quite a number of years for being a consultant to the company, and instead they ran it into the ground in about 18 months. And as a result, we were not prepared financially. We lost a house, we lost a vehicle, we lost pretty much everything. And during that time, we looked at each other and, we were like, okay, we're starting to ask questions now. And we really were asking God questions. And we're like, tell us, God, are we supposed to fight to keep this house or let it go? And interestingly enough, both my husband and I separately got the same message. Let it go because you're going to go on the road for me.
I
And
just got
so
goosebumps.
that was a that was in 2009, and we ended up coming face to face with a lot of systems that frightened us, quite honestly, because, we ended up having to get a little bit of assistance, food and, other ways. It was a pretty dark time at that point in time. If it hadn't been for our youngest son being willing to stuff us into his one-bedroom apartment with him, I'm not sure we would have been looking for a bridge to hide under. I do believe it was that bad. So, but we came face to face with all these systems, and the one thing that kept coming back to us was these systems don't encourage people to rise up again. They tend to hold people in place and make them just want to be comfortable to, let whatever systems and government programs to help them survive. And to us, we didn't feel like that was what God wanted for people. And we've gotten several messages along that way. So, believe it or not, my husband actually decided that he said, if we're not trying to be part of the solution, we're part of the problem. And so he took this bold move in 2012 and made a decision to run for governor of North Carolina. Even though we didn't have two nickels to rub together, knew nothing about the political system. And he wanted to run as an independent because we both felt there were good on both sides of the aisles, and somebody needed to be putting them together and showing people what's possible. So, unfortunately, we found out how broken that system is. We found out how ridiculous it is in terms of being silenced if you have new ideas. And at that time, somebody introduced us to a quote from a gentleman named Buckminster Fuller that said, "You can't create change by fighting the existing reality. Instead, you need to build new systems that make the old ones obsolete." And so that's what we've been doing, especially for the last 6 years of being on the road. Because again, our youngest son stepped up and helped us to be able to get to a place of going on the road. And our goal has been to build an alternative system that's all about creating unity instead of division, helping people discover natural wellness.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll look down your
what we're being handed. And also to be able to create peace in our communities, because we deserve health, wealth, and peace, all of us, not just some of us. And so that is what we've been building. We actually have 2 for-profit businesses and a nonprofit organization we're partnered with to help with this effort. And it's all designed to create more heart-centered businesses, help them to grow, help them to engage in the community, to be the problem solvers that so many small business owners really are, and then be able to build micro communities that also work with those small business owners to be able to house people, heal people, and educate people about using their God-given gifts to create their own income.
Wow.
So that's our story.
Wow.
And we're sticking to it.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
I can't hear you, dear. You
Oh,
are.
I'm sorry. I'm
muted.
sorry. I had myself on mute. I'm sorry. That's amazing. Cheyenne, I have a question when you were sharing that journey. When you both were at your lowest and you lost everything, okay? And was it the systems that were in place there? And when you say systems, I guess you mean programs that are out there to help people that are down on their luck or what have you, or that are in need of help or assistance. Is that what kind of plunged you into developing this Facebook group that you have?
Yeah, because this Facebook group is all about, truly about bringing together entrepreneurs who are interested in financial wellness, physical, emotional, spiritual wellness, as well as creating peace on earth.
Okay.
So bringing all those entrepreneurs together, eventually our goal is to be building localized teams of small business owners who become significant problem solvers in our localized communities.
Okay, to kind of like bridge that gap where, food assistance, medical assistance, they don't have that gap to encourage, like you said, for people to become self-sustaining. Is that?
Exactly, because that's the problem. And for us, we are faith-based. We definitely believe in a higher power. We honor whatever the God of your understanding is. We're not out here to try to jam anything down anybody's throat. But we truly believe that's one of the biggest problems that we have in our society right now, is that there's a lot of people who have worked very hard to take God out of society. They took him out of the medical system. The medical system knows nothing about natural healing and natural medicines. That's not what they're taught. They've taken them out of education. I mean, if we were born in the image of a creator, we were designed to create. So why are we not teaching our kids about entrepreneurship while they're in school? Instead, we end up with kids that go to the streets and learn from the wrong people and end up in prison. Not acceptable.
I hear you. Gosh, wow. So where are you currently with this Facebook group? I know it's very large. I think you're over like 2,000 something odd members.
Almost 2,000.
In your group.
Almost 2,000.
In your group. But with this Facebook group, I'm curious as to, is it just giving the tools to individuals to move into entrepreneurship that don't know how? Or what do you, can you?
You're on the right track.
Okay, well, tell me. Because
we built a system, and in fact, if you go to the Facebook group now, it doesn't even say Unity for Wellness and Peace Network. It says Unity for Wellness and Peace System. So one of our for-profit businesses is all about providing the services to help people identify what is a passion, a purpose, a mission that you have, and then how can we help you build an income around that. And then as we can help somebody get that off the ground and start to scale that business up, then it's how do we get you engaged in a collaborative team where you become part of a solutions team of small business owners in your community? We've done this in a couple of different places, and it's been amazing where you can take it. And I like working with teams of small business owners, but ultimately we want those teams of small business owners to be partnering with individuals in their communities who are the closest to the problems that their communities are experiencing. Because if you're not including that knowledge, you can't really solve a problem at the root cause. All you can do is keep applying Band-Aids. Yeah. And that's what we have right now. Our government has been slapping Band-Aids on stuff for decades and never addressing the root causes, because most of the people running our government know nothing about them.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to bring the small business community into the communities and get them more engaged. That's what we did last year when we were in Raleigh, North Carolina. We went there because of people telling us about the suicide epidemic that's not being talked about. Here we are finding out that one university in a year had 15 student suicides on campus. And that, again, is not acceptable. So we dug into everything we could in Raleigh to learn about what's going on. Why are so many young people just saying, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this. And, there's a lot. We've been living in a perfect storm, and the pandemic just kind of put a lot of icing on that cake that we never should have had. That just, the lack of socialization, the lack of being able to, be with their peers. I mean, 10 to 18-year-olds, suicide is the second leading cause of death.
Wow.
Not acceptable.
No, it's not.
So, when we did our,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so when we did our event, that was an example of reaching into the community and bringing people together, both in person and online. We had over 1,200 people watching our event online. So we know suicide is a big issue. And it needs to be addressed. And we brought a bunch of small business owners to the table at that event who had integrative approaches. It's not about throwing out the medical system. Duke University calls it integrative medicine, where you take the best of Western medicine, you bring all of these natural healing modalities, and you integrate them together. That's what we were showcasing at Ignite the Spark last year.
I was going to say, I think that's wonderful, and I know obviously you being mobile actually helps you be in the midst or in the middle of the battleground. And so I'm sure all of this took a lot of research. I mean, I'm just listening to you and my mind's just like, oh my gosh, all the people that you have to talk to and to gain all the knowledge and, obviously what resources are there, what resources are not in order to bridge that gap. So is that...
Yeah, absolutely. It's, and I'm a super connector. I've been called that by a lot of people, and I do. And I'm a puzzle builder. I say, we all have a piece of the super puzzle to build health, wealth, and peace on earth. And unfortunately, far too many people are still sitting on their piece of the puzzle. So I'm going out here and identifying different puzzle pieces and who's got them. Because that's what I want to do, is connect people together who have a common vision, a common cause, and get them working together. And that's what this Facebook group is really about. I'm experimenting right now with what can I do to find people with a common cause or a common group that they serve or, whatever. Out of our group, I already brought together a group of 5 or 6 guys who all are very concerned about men's mental wellness. Right now, I've got a small group of women that are starting to come together who can help with business startup of heart-centered entrepreneurs. So we're constantly throwing the net out there and just seeing who's ready to not just give lip service to collaboration, because I've seen too much of that the last 20 years. It's all about coming together and creating that, the Bible says when 2 or more are gathered in my name, right? So bringing people together who have that same heart and seeing what kind of solutions that they can come up with, that's the heart of unity for wellness and peace.
I don't think you could say it any better. That's definitely a mic drop on that one, Cheyenne. Listen, we've only got a few more minutes left, but I wanted to find out. So that's what you had just most recently done in North Carolina, but you're in Tennessee. So is it a secret of what you're working on now, or can you share with the community? Like you're in that spot to focus on. Can you share it with us? Okay.
Certainly. We've actually been working very hard the last few weeks to build a fundraising team for the nonprofit that we work with, which is called the Hope Institute. And the reason for that is because we know it's time. Somewhere out here, there is a property where we should be building a micro community. And, we've seen possibilities for doing one that is there to assist veterans. We've seen the possibility of doing one that would assist young people who've aged out of foster care. We've seen the possibility of doing one for abused women. And our goal with the Hope Institute is to be able to, kind of like our son did for us, he basically helped to house us for 2 years while we got our act together again. And so we want to be able to do that for other people. We want to be able to house people who've hit a wall, who need to be able to have the opportunity to live somewhere where they're not stressing out over survival, and give them 6 months, 12 months, 24 months to be able to go through, body, mind, and spirit healing, in this integrative fashion, to be able to also start to learn about, what are those God-given gifts that maybe I have stuffed in the closet that I could be using to build my own income so I can be self-sustaining. That's what the Hope Institute is really supposed to do, is find those people, bring them in, be able to, love on them and teach them and heal them for a year or two, and we want them to grow and go. So that's really what we've been working on, is pulling together the fundraising team, really starting to put some serious fundraising strategies in place and getting help from people to do that, and then looking for that property, because we could start with raw land, and we've seen some ways we could do that. But if we could find a small campground that somebody was willing to work with us on, or an old hospital, or an old school, or an old church, any of these kinds of properties could be utilized to house people, heal people, and educate people. And we need to find one of two things right now, because we have heard, we've talked to a grant writer who's willing to help us be able to get funds from the USDA that could pay for 85% of a property.
Wow.
That's significant.
Yeah, that's huge.
But we either need somebody who's willing to work with us for about 6 months while we go through that grant process, or somebody who's willing to donate it to the Hope Institute. So that's what we're looking for right now.
So that's awesome, phenomenal. And we certainly, I am sure there is someone out there that knows someone out there that might know someone out there that could certainly help you and your mission, the current mission, and all of the systems that you support. I just wanted to take time out, because we've got about maybe 5-10 minutes, well, about 5 minutes or so left. I just wanted to take a moment, if you could, because I really want to celebrate everyone's journey. And yours is obviously one, you've overcome a lot of obstacles. And there might be someone out there that's listening or might watch the replay, one of our members, or knows someone where they're in their life and they might be at that defining moment, like you and your husband, and it's just, you lose everything. And I know your faith is very close to you. Is there also, besides their faith, is there something that you could say that might be an encouragement to help them to get started, or maybe that new entrepreneur, like you said, that might be too scared to, I can't do this, that you might speak to them to go ahead and take that first step? Because that's obviously, if you didn't, you wouldn't be the people that you are. So
absolutely. There's a couple of things. I actually have a class I created called Find Your Song and Sing It, Finding or Creating Work You Love. And out of that class, there is a couple of things that can be really helpful when people have kind of hit the wall. And, one is to understand that it may be that somehow you're going through this because God's preparing you to help other people be able to shorten their pain when it happens to them. That's what we really determined, was that, we had to take what we went through and figure out how to create a system that not only could help people who've hit that wall, but also be working to try to prevent that mess from happening to so many people in the future. So, just understanding, when I do my Find Your Song class, I tell people to ask themselves 3 questions. If you don't believe you have a purpose, ask yourself 3 questions. One is, if you had a closet full of money that was never going to run out, what would you be doing with your time? If you have an answer for that, you might need to stop right there, because now of course a lot of people, and I know you're into travel, Stacy, a lot of people say, I travel the world. I say, well, good. And what good would you do with that?
Right.
So let's not just talk about going out there and just having fun every day. How do you make a difference while you're traveling? And then the second question is, what difficulties have you been through in your life where you've gone over, around, or through it, and now you have something to share with other people that can provide hope to them? Because whether you write your own story, whether you create your own YouTube channel and talk about it, whether you create your own seminars out of it, you have the ability to provide hope to other people. And let that be a source of hope for you, because that's huge, and a lot of people don't recognize it.
Wow.
And and the simplest thing, there's three simple ways we tell people to go out and start learning how to create your own income. One is, what's a service you can provide, which is probably something you already know how to do. The second one is, what knowledge can you share? Again, whether it's writing your own book, creating your own webinars, all of those kinds of things. And the third is, what product could you adopt that somehow is related to whatever you feel passionate about, and be able to go out there and work that product? I mean, that's what you're doing. You've got your product of selling travel, and you're telling people, hey, don't get to the end of your life with a whole list of things places you wanted to see. Do it now.
Yes.
So there's so many things that people can do. And the catch-all, if you don't believe you have a purpose, here's the catch-all question. What makes you really, really angry or really, really sad? Because if you look out in the world and something can bring you to tears, that's a clue. You've got passion around that. What can you do to either get involved with somebody else who's working that issue, or figure out a way to create your own piece of a solution for it?
Yeah, amazing. So I know you're going to put all of that in the comments so everyone knows how to get a hold of you, how to jump into your Facebook group, and if they need to donate their time, because time is valuable as well as money, to your nonprofit, please put that in the comments. But I truly, truly appreciate you, Cheyenne, taking time out this morning to talk with me. And I know my mind is turning on how I could maybe help you with connecting or whatnot. So I am just very, very happy that we had a chance to have this conversation. I get a chance to know you more and more and more. But we are going to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are in the world. I do have Jessica Bittel coming up on Wednesday, so you all tune into that. Cheyenne, you have a blessed day. Please hang out for just a minute afterwards, okay? All right, everyone.
Absolutely.
Take care, and God bless everyone. See you all soon.